that I have been through the years and the do's and don'ts of what I experienced. And I'm not really good at this, but I hope I don't bore you to death. But I'll tell you what I've done.
Let me make a point, ask questions anytime, we like to keep the interaction, while I see you don't have to hold anything.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I was told years ago by this old guy in the 90s, and we were talking about inventions, and he told me these words that I'll never forget. He says, every inventor thinks that they have the answer to whatever they're creating. And that's not necessarily true. But you have to believe in what you created and go with it if you think it's worth it in your heart and in your mind. And so that always stuck in my head. Anyway, because we tend to, as inventors, we tend to want to, think that we want to put our life on the line for it. At some points, people do that. It just, because it's their creation, this is what I did. It's going to be the answer to this or that, or whatever you created, invented. And, you don't really want to go there and think that. You got to be knowledgeable in the whole entire process prior to believing that deeply in your invention. I know I've been there, done. This is my fourth round. I have an invention that Roger's going to help me with, and this is my fourth round. And the other ones were not good. The product was good, but what I went through was not. And I'll kind of explain a little bit. I'll touch on that for a little bit. The main thing is that since you believe in your invention, only dig in your pocket for your prototype. Don't overextend yourself and get loans and do this and that and find investors and stuff like that, or family members like I did that to help you get this thing going, whatever this is you invented. You don't want to do that because you want to be real cautious on what you spend and where you're digging for your invention. You don't want to go that deeply until you find an investor. That's what you really need to do. And us being inventors, we're real vulnerable to the villains out there. They see something that's pretty promising, say, well, I want to see what that guy's got. I want to take it from him or something like that, or rip him off or whatever. You got to be very, very cautious of that, because I've been there before too. And fellow inventors, I just want to let you know what my experiences were through the years, because I spent thousands of dollars on my creations that never worked out because I pretty much got screwed. And I was real skeptical as far as, very, very skeptical as far as getting this invention that I have going with Roger. For that very reason, is that I've been through a lot and don't want to go there no more, Anyway, it's really it's really something to be an inventor, because we're creators of product that we think people can use or be happy with, and it makes us feel good if we can get that product out there to the general public, and they buy this product, and it's you guys hear me okay? Okay. Anyway, you know, and whatever you do, don't, even though you created something, you're all skeptical like me, like myself, never, don't take your invention lightly, because you never know. Because we're creators of these products for a reason. That's for gratification of someone else using what we created, and money. Basically, downright, be nice to go to the bank with a big check, you know? So that's more or less our outlook, I'm sure, for all of us, you know? We're in it for a reason, you know? Even though we do want the general public to enjoy and use our product and like it, you know, that's a big one there too. Whatever you do, don't fall, because I did that also. Don't fall for the television articles, oh yeah, there's inventors, helpers, and all this type of stuff. Do not go there, because you're going to get it. You're going to get beat up with that, because for some reason, I don't know what it is, that they'll rip you off. I've done that because I put $3,000 in my first invention that I finally wanted to do, and they kept calling me, wanting more money, and it was a long distance thing. It wasn't local, but I was living in Montana at the time, in Kalispell, in fact. And, you know, they said, well, we need more money, Abe, we need more money. So I kept sending them more money. I says, man, what are you guys going to do for me? What are you doing, you know? And before you know it, I couldn't afford anymore. I just couldn't. I was just a small painting contractor in Montana, and heck, I didn't make that kind of money. I mean, Montana's nowhere near the size of Denver, you know. So the business part of it, to get that business part of it, wasn't that great. But it made me a living. But I mean, trying to do that, plus pay for a guy out of the radio or the television, you're just going to get ripped off. Don't go there, whatever you do. And in fact, that invention that I created, I didn't know what to do. That was the first time I heard my go around on that. 2 years later, I seen my invention on the counter at a printing shop. 2 years later, it was what I created, and I got ripped off because I didn't have the money. The one thing, that's what I'm saying, don't dig deep in your pocket. Don't do that. What you want to do is dig in your pocket, create your prototype, and if you have to spend a little bit more to get it a better prototype, then do that, because then it's more presentable to investors. What you want to do is get your patent, all your legal patent stuff going. Make sure you're all legally protected. Then you can find an investor, and just like they say in real estate, let them use their money, not yours. So you want the investor to invest in you and in your product without having to dig deep in your pocket and going broke. My last invention, I was telling Greg there, I says, I put over $85,000 in it and hit a dead end. Even though I had a patent pending, my patent attorneys were telling me, and it was already 3 years, a little over 3 years, and they wanted $3,500 more for my patent. I said, well, you gotta be kidding me. It's already been 3 years, and I give you guys $12,000. So you gotta be careful with that. As far as, I say, well, the patent office wants this and that. That wasn't true. The patent attorneys wanted to take from me, you know. You don't want to go there, so you got to be real careful in everything you do. Study what you got to do your homework, and make sure that everything is going to be in place prior to digging deep, because you dig deep, you're going to have problems, because there's people out there ready to get you.
How did you know your product was going to take off? I mean, you just had a gut feeling that your product was going to take off, that you had a good product? Who did you talk to that told you you had a good product? Did you talk to anyone, did you talk to anyone about your product prior to investing
You
in
mean
it?
my last product?
Yeah.
No, what I did is I did research on my own. Then I had a patent search through these patent attorneys. They say, there's nothing like it. So you're eligible for a patent. So I waited and waited and waited for the test. I'm saying it was over 3 years. And, nothing. They wanted more money. And I just got tired of putting money. My God, I mean, I'm not a wealthy person by no means. I mean, I had to work for a living. And it was just a tough road because, you gotta be skeptical and on everything that you do that's surrounding your creation, your invention. You have to do that. It's because I don't see nobody will do that. You know?
You can ask what the product was or what kind of product it was?
My product it was, I created, it was a mechanical piece. I created a glass bead system that puts glass bead on the paint while these guys are doing sidewalks and streets and everything. I created that system that was way better than whatever was out there. Because see, I worked at the airport. I'm a painter. I've been a painter for 53 years, but I'm retired now. And I worked out at DIA for the city and county of Denver. That's where I retired in 2008. Anyway, the product that we used directly was worthless.
But it was a paint, reflective paint that painted lines.
Yes, it was a glass bead system that fit on the striping machine that puts the stripes of paint down. And I made one where it was, because these other ones, the other product they had was out, the only one, they had tubes which would get condensation, plug up. You couldn't adjust anything. If you had a 4-inch line to do, you had to put 6 inches of glass bead on it. And you could walk in on glass bead, it's like walking on ice. I said, oh, this is terrible. So I created a glass bead system where you could set it from 1 inch to 12 inches because the maximum stripes that we used out at the airport were 12 inches. And it would do it right on the money. If you wanted a 2-inch stripe, it would do that. 4-inch stripe, it would do that. Without throwing glass bead all over the place and wasting it. And it would work right off of the machine that was striking the paint. I created that. I went to a show in Nashville, and got hooked up by my words. Rita Rumpkin was there. She was supposed to do all the work. She didn't do anything. I did. And anyway, I hooked up with these other company that uses the glass bead system because they also made the stripers, the paint stripers. They loved it. So they ended up coming down to Denver. I gave them a demonstration out at my manufacturers. My manufacturer seen the potential there because they wanted 500 units. Quote for 500 units, and I was selling my product for $1,700, over $1,700. And in fact, I was even selling them in Canada, but I can only afford to make 20 of them. That's why I'm saying, don't dig in your pocket like I did. Find an investor that'll spend their money and not yours. That way you can still stay in the comfort zone without going out of hand. And because it's frustrating, it really is, it truly is.
And, you know, there's another guy I met here who did it, like you said, you could afford to make 20 of the units. He was able to make the units, and then he sold them to Macy's, but Macy's never paid him. So he went out of business, because they were a little guy at that time, they could do that. So there's the other danger, right, is that you're a small guy, and the big guys who are buying can just
Vegas to all these airports because it was a critical tool that they needed that I created. Okay, now Titan, that company I was telling that did the other spray equipment, they came down for a demo. Three of them came down, big shots. They come down, I gave them a demonstration that I created a newer model that was even better. And they also, they liked my product so much, they let me have an $8,000 striker, brand new, so I can fit my glass bead system to their sprayer. I gave a demonstration at my manufacturer, and that's another thing you gotta watch out for, okay? My manufacturer seen the potential after these guys said, give us a quote for 500 and get back with us. So the next day, my manufacturer, the two owners, they called me the next day and they says, hey, before we get into this stuff, we want 27% of your business. I go, you're kidding me. I said, I paid you to manufacture the product, and now you want 27% of my business? I said, I'll give it to charity before I do that. And then Titan didn't want to get involved in any of that, so I just lost out on everything. 500 units at $1,700. Well, I would have gave a break because they're buying so many.
And you would have got a break too. Or
Hard
you
to
would have gotten a break from the manufacturer by purchasing from you.
Yeah, so you can get ripped off in some situation like that. And, yeah. It's just best to have an attorney if you can afford one to make sure you don't get screwed over. But that patent is so critical. And I didn't have my patent. That's why I was waiting for 3 years, over 3 years to get it. And they wanted more money. I said, forget it. I give up already because that's why I'm so frustrated with, I hate being an inventor. Because it's expensive and it's hard on your heart and in your head.
Was that a large patent?
What was it like? I gotta go back here. Can you guys hear me better?
Question, was that a large patent firm you were working with?
I didn't hear him.
A large patent firm, a law firm?
Did my cat get it?
No. Was it a large? Patent law firm.
What law firm was it?
Yeah.
It was Lane Decker and Lemire.
So a big firm.
Lane Decker and Lemire. Are you familiar with that? Yes.
No, but I've been ripped off by large law firms. You're better working
Oh
with.
yeah,
These
these guys. Yeah, all they did was take my money and go buy their Johnny Carson suit.
Well, what they do is they don't assign the principles to your job. They give your job, because you're a small guy, they give it to an underling who's just learning. So you're better off with going to an independent patent attorney. Oh yeah. Your best skill is invoicing.
I can talk about that particular aspect of going to attorneys. I went to several large law firms, one out in Seattle, one downtown Denver, and I got talking
Can we do karaoke? Yeah.
And I have a note here, it says, you know, the best thing for all of us to do firsthand, you know, if we're not wealthy, is get your invention protected, legally protected first. You know, guys like Roger, you know, to take care of you. Then you can seek an investor and not dig into your pocket because you don't want to go there. I've been there, done it. And, you know, just don't use your own money and stuff like that. Just use theirs, the investors. I mean, that's what they're there for. All we have to do is dig and find them. And there's a way to do that, I guess. I don't know what it is. But there's a circuit or something, you know, of investors. I don't know about television, Shark Tank or whatever, but you know, and I almost filled out an application for Shark Tank because I had it on my computer and I was going to fill it out and introduce my product to Shark Tank, and I seen what they're looking for is that established inventors that already been selling the product over and over again because they want a piece of the action. So for beginners, I mean, just trying it from the ground on up, they don't even want to talk to us, you know. They want an established company with plus their invention and stuff. So that's what they're really looking for. You know.
There's a question over there.
I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
For anybody, so, like, is it dangerous to get a patent if it's not an international patent?
Is it dangerous?
Yeah, like, because I heard, don't get a patent unless it's international.
No, see, I was told with another product I had that Spalding was gonna buy 100,000 to start out with. It was for billiards, pool, for pool cues. Anyway, a guy told me, he says, that was manufacturing my product, he says, oh, don't worry about that patent, just flood the market. Yeah, but how do you flood the market if you don't have the money? And I have a 1 cavity mold, which I needed an actual 20 cavity mold or 10 cavity mold to really push them out. And then, no, so the best thing to do is anything, get a patent or get a patent search, and then they'll tell you from the patent search on if it's feasible or you can get a patent or not. They're going to let you know right off the bat, right, Roger? Basically.
2 years. I
Well,
think,
Pardon?
you can get.
It gives you a good idea.
It gives you a good idea if there's anything like it. Once you get a patent search, if there's anything like it, because I did a lot of reading and stuff online. It says your invention has to be uniquely different than what your competitor or whoever else is out there, because that uniqueness is what's going to help you get your patent. It's going to help you.
Well, I heard like if not to bother paying like for US patent, because like within 3 weeks Japan will have it or something. I heard don't get a patent unless you get an international patent.
Well, it's just different countries. So I filed in the United States, and I didn't do a prior search. What I did, my patent attorney's like, you're a little person, you're not like HP generating patent after patent. So just write it as broadly as you can, slam into everybody you can, and then if you get it, it'll be worth something, and that'll be like kind of the prior arts search. And then that's why it took so long. I mean, I was constantly fighting the patent office. But as far as the European patent, you can select like like I filed for an EPO, like a European patent. That includes Germany, France, Netherlands, like the whole group. And I didn't file in Asia I think I'm regretting, because apparently it's really good to have a Chinese patent right now. And China, they actually did an injunction against the iPhone. I mean, that's what Tim Cook said, that the year-to-year sales went down. So I would actually file in China, which I never thought, I was like, what the heck, they're just gonna copy it anyhow. I filed in 2002, right? But now it's really quite important. It costs less, and they take them more seriously. And if you go to court to say somebody's infringing, it only takes like, a third the time or whatever. It's just
Because
crazy.
if it's not international, you have no rights to proceed anyway.
Yeah, but still, like, if you think about the markets, like United States, if you found in United States, Canada, Europe, Germany, France, the Netherlands, I mean, you have such a huge size of the market that you don't have to sell, you don't have to be a billionaire, you can just try to be a millionaire. You know what I mean? It's just,
You have to have foreign patents.
Well, no,
Yeah.
The fees to go international.
Oh,
would be
yeah.
astronomical.
so like, I filed a European patent, so I don't have the money, right? So my patent attorney keeps stalling and editing and changing, because now I find out I'm gonna get it. And so now I'm actually scared, because you have to park it in each country. So you have to it's $2,500, $3,000 in France and Germany. It's just like every country. It's like $35,000 in fees. So
Tell them what happened. You had a patent, and then someone tried to put you out of business because they didn't want the competition.
yeah, I was taking other people's customers, and it was this publicly traded company, and I was winning contests out in Silicon Valley. I placed first out of 175 companies. I got in state bills and Office Max, and they sued me for no reason, patent infringement, in Texas. So all of a sudden, I get thrown into, I was on my 5th law firm. I was 10 days before, they ripped all my stuff off Staples, Office Max. I didn't get any money from that at all. I spent 5 years trying to defend my patents. I still owe my dad a lot of money. But it just was like horrible. And you can't win. So after discovery, I was on Perkins Coie, was my 5th firm. They finally gave up because they saw my bank account, I think. But
Yeah.
it just was like, and all the investors ran away, and I haven't paid myself in years, and now, but now everybody's infringing my patents, so I'm trying to monetize it now. This broker's like, he turned me down a long time ago. It's like, you don't need car insurance if you don't have a car, right? So until people are actually infringing, and people that have ideas like everybody here does and invent things, it takes the market sometimes 7 to 8 years to actually copy it. And sometimes it's because of the manufacturing and they're already set up a certain way, or sometimes it just takes people, like regular people.
Yes.
Like, I saw this graph where like 2 to 4% of people, like people in this room, have an idea, and it just seems obvious, right? But it's like, then there's this like 14% that will buy something like the Tesla car because they want to be cool, or the first iPad, whatever. But it takes the regular population until our Kardashian, carries around that purse or something, and they don't seem to get it. I don't know. So it does take a while.
I didn't hear what she said, so I might walk on what she said a little bit. But in my experience with patent offices and people that would advise different things about doing things with patents overseas, is that a lot of the overseas governments will give reciprocity to you, to the United States patent. So instead of having to apply directly to those patent offices in the other countries, all you need to do is apply on a reference patent from your patent over to theirs, and they will work directly through the patent office in the United States for those countries. Now that doesn't go with all countries. Some of the ones that will do that are France and Germany and UK and maybe a few others, the main ones in Europe. But you don't have to have a patent attorney in the other countries.
You don't have to have foreign patents then?
No.
In that situation?
What happens is that when your attorney goes and applies to the other patent offices overseas, he references your patent and the materials in your patent to that company, to that country. So that is transferred over to them. You're not making an application. What they're applying for is recognition of your patent over in the other country.
Huh.
Well, it depends. Anybody can find that there's, and we've got some movement on the product itself, like she said, it's gonna take those other countries a good 5 years to 7 years to able to copy and bring it to a productive type of design that can be proven and tested and go through all that process. However, there's one country that they defy all things, and that's China. China can copy something within 12 months. And on top of that, they don't recognize our patents. They're going to go ahead and do it anyway. All the patents and what I'm working on in the radio control model airplane business, somebody will come out with a very complicated product like a new transmitter with all these new all the new bells and whistles they got onto them. Within 6 months to a year, all the Chinese products got the same exact thing.
Well, China can't even make anything, right? They don't know how to temper steel. Everything they make is junk, and then they force us to buy it because there's not an American product just like what we need to buy, because they put all the jobs back over there.
Well, that is very true. They've gotten wickedly better in the last few years. They've got wickedly better. They now sell a transmitter, for instance, that will be equivalent to and work exactly well. In fact, if you know anything about radio,
Yeah, the light's on it. Chuck, where's the sound coming from?
Well, it only goes online. The other one is allowed.
You haven't told anybody.
Oh.
You can send a certified letter to yourself. No.
But when someone asks a question, hold the mic close to them.
I see.
Doesn't all of the recordings.
It doesn't?
No, according to, we had that thing from the
Oh, really?
office director, that you say sending yourself a certified letter.
With your idea,
Doesn't
don't
work
open
on
it.
the thing I got.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it doesn't help you legally. I mean, most people these days do a provisional, and it's more certain. Or just keep your inventor's notebook signed and witnessed, at the very least.
That didn't count worth anything anymore either.
Well, you're still making documentation about activities. It may become useful, because if somebody comes up with something close and they have exposure to it, and then you have to prove you were in possession of this at a point in the past, you've got that documentation.
could I answer her question?
Well, I mean, the international, you can file in one country, say U.S., and you got a blanket for the world for a year, and then you can file in foreign countries at the end of the year. You can do later than that, but you don't get the U.S. priority.
I wonder if this is still a caricature to this thing you're talking about, Dick.
Sorry,
Carrie's talking about how expensive it's going to be.
I'm like him. I can't.
Carrie is talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so at 14 years, I'm finally gonna get my first European patent for this Clean 4. And so we've been stalling, taking forever, because, you know, you park it in each country. So, I mean, if he's alone, just to pay for 5 countries plus the 2 other countries, it's like $35,000 just to
it can get expensive, because they do have an issuing fee when they, like you said, they have those.
Yeah, we
You have to have
usually,
translators to translate your patent in Germany, Germany.
yeah, we usually file,
Talking about wouldn't work for her, she'd still have to pay a lot of money. That referral thing sounded like it was free.
Well, all the countries don't do that, but I'm just saying that what my attorney has said is that when you want to fly overseas, there's a channel you can go through where you don't have to work through the patent office over there or a patent attorney over there. You can use, this.
oh,
system.
you must mean the PCT. The PCT does that.
Right.
You can actually file in the US Patent Office, and then you reserve,
But do you pay money for all those or not?
yeah.
Yes. You do.
Unfortunately, the filing fees are kind of high, but you at least say the patent itself, the drawings and text, you reuse that same stuff. So you're just paying translation and filing fees.
Which Google could do.
Huh?
Google could do that, right? Why are you paying a translation fee?
Yeah.
You just put it in Word and say, Google, translate this into.
Well, that, it's, you can, but you know, you wanna make sure it's accurate, and then if it's highly technical wording,
Yeah.
you know, like Google can do conversational. So you gotta be careful if you're, you know, really in a corner of a certain technology, and then that foreign words are maybe kind of unique and not
Like
used.
herewith and therefore and stuff you lawyers put in.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I had a client, and we, you know, that translation thing's a little bit of a racket with the foreign, because you go to file in a foreign country, and the translation cost is the biggest expense. And you're like, whoa. So we did the translations here, we shopped around, okay, we saved, yeah, several $1,000s. But then when we went to file, they made us sign affidavits that says they're not taking responsibility for the accuracy of the translation. We had to, and if there was errors in it and it caused problems in a lawsuit, it was our problem.
Oh.
So, it's okay, but they do have a markup on that translation.
I can give you a nightmare talk about going to a large law firm. I had an idea back in '85, and we made it very broad, and we used a law firm that had, I think it was 450.
200, yeah. Buchanan Ingersoll, the second largest law firm in Pittsburgh.
And anyhow, we were also at the same time trying to get investors. And our initial product we sold to Carnegie Mellon. And so the investors would say, well, okay, Carnegie Mellon bought it. Is someone else going to buy it? So we went to Pitt, got them to buy it, community college. And they said, okay, that's all in Pennsylvania. But what's going to happen? You know, can you get anyone in another country or another state? So then Stanford started to use it. And meanwhile, these potential investors said, well, you have to ramp up the sales. You know, if you can ramp up the sales, then you'll be able to get a lot more money for your idea. And so, you know, we kept doing this, and we were talking to the law firm, you know, when are we going to hear back from the patent office?
He even wrote an opinion letter for investors saying what a great chance we had of getting this.
Right, because they
really
were
back.
anxious to know.
Well,
about
the patent attorney who was handling our deal missed the board,
Never filed it
and he didn't tell us.
for 3 years, 3.5 years.
For 3 years.
3 years.
Where is-
That's
I
a
wrote
little
an opinion
slow.
letter for investors saying we were gonna get these great chances.
All right, so finally, we found another patent attorney, and, for another one of my ideas. And so, you know, he was talking to this other guy, and we finally discovered that, our original patent, which was extremely broad, you know, we couldn't get it because we missed the board, unbeknown to us. So then we ended up trying to sue this large
actually due with the second baby. They actually scheduled the trial during the week I was due. And I'm like, well, should I have the baby when you're asking me questions or they're asking me questions? So we basically settled the day before. But it was just horrendous. It was just, have you ever sued a law firm? It was like,
They had Roku money behind them. They hired another law firm to protect them or to handle the case for them. And so they had, that law firm had 3 people that looked at every document we turned over.
every piece of paper.
So we turned over 50,000 to our law firm, and they had to make a copy for themselves, and they had to have another copy to send to them. It just, every attorney that looked at it, well, they were billed for every page that, they were making a fortune. And we had mock trials.
Mock
One
trials.
of the mock trials, one of the people who was, monitoring this thing said, well, it's worth $200 million.
Which it wasn't.
Go
figure.
That would have been nice. So we settled for far less than that, but we were afraid to try and get as much as it was worth, because then they would have appealed it, and we'd still be fine.
Experts on what the patent would have been, economic experts.
So, I mean, you can really have a nightmare, going to a large firm, and that patent attorney is still practicing.
That was all just because of a bar date miss?
He missed the bar date.
Well, then nobody knows why he didn't file it. It's just mysterious. He didn't file
I
the
mean, it
patent.
seems
And
like
then,
the case blew up into this huge thing because of missed deadline.
but then they said it wasn't worth anything as soon as they found
Well,
out.
they were trying to force us into bankruptcy so that the amount would be settled through the bankruptcy court. And we kept hanging on and digging into our pockets, like you said.
Yeah,
But we didn't have any choice.
we don't have any pockets anymore.
And luckily, the Philadelphia firm took it on a contingency basis. But their expenses, they were flying to Pittsburgh first class and, on, staying in hotels, all these depositions.
It's so sucked
They
in.
ran up.
Don't you just hate being an inventor?
They
Have to go
they
through
ran
all of
up.
that.
Yeah, you do. You get sucked in. You think about right or wrong, and you have this great idea, and why isn't everybody being nice and playing nice?
Yeah.
Well, in my case, I made a very decision, I didn't want to go international, I wanted to save money. Soap dishes, address, 131 million housing units in the USA. That's a big enough market for me. Even in Colorado, up there, 1.8 million housing units. In my little house, I use 4 of these soap dishes, so the potential market is huge. So
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about international patent dollars being spent. I just want to be able to say, hey, I got a patent, and the Chinese cannot import from the U.S. That's my biggest worry.
Yeah.
I'd be flattered if they copied the design, but
Most of the time, the US is a sufficient market, it's big enough, So I, for example, experience of a local inventor, that she want to file in Canada, all Europe, in South America, in different countries, South Africa, Korea, Japan, and so we find a PCT, a patent cooperation treaty application to.
Yeah, how did they do that, though? You have Amazon?
Yes.
This is gonna sound odd, but to my understanding, there isn't anything called the patent police in the United States. There's nobody guarding our shorelines to keep people out from bringing product in from other countries that we have patents on. There are no police. What has to happen is you have to be cognizant of products that are being sold that are similar or a copy
You
of
have
your
to be
product.
involved in your market
you
and
have
know
to
who your
involve your own
competitors
attorney
are.
first.
Yeah.
And then it goes through a whole process. The patent office, to my knowledge, doesn't even get involved in that. It's the interstate, it's the commerce department that operates between different countries. our Commerce Department, the United States Commerce Department, is the one that has the lawyers and the input to be able to block shipping of product into this country. They're the only ones that can do that and inspect it that way. But it takes a lot of money on your part to get everybody in action. The second part of that is, lo and behold, if it's not in a product that, let's just say you've got a little toy that's 25 cents or $1.50 or something like that, our country's not going to spend millions of dollars trying to block those kind of products from coming in. It's got to be something that incites reason and logic within our government to say no, because it's in the interest of our country, not in the interest of you as an individual. That's what the prima facie reason for them blocking things that come into our country.
Yeah, finishing up with the story of this lady, she went to fire them all over the world, and now, finally, we filed a public cooperation treaty, we went with phase 1, phase 2, with the PCT, so everything, and then after 30 months, you need to enter the national stage. So at the time when the national stage in this country, well, she don't have money and so then she filed, so we filed only in the United States. So we went through this final cooperation treaty, filing and prosecution and examination, and so we had the international preliminary examination report, and so it was looking good and reasonable, but then the resources were limited because it takes a lot of money to file in different countries. You have to deal with the translation, with the finding corresponding on each country to in order to find it. So it takes a lot of resources. So anyhow, so.
There's some things, I mean, it's a strategy thing, that you can use the Customs Department, I think it's for an annual fee in the range of $300-400. This applies to trademarks, but they can stop at the border, so that's one protection you can have. There's the International Trade Commission, that's an alternative to courts for blocking foreign products. My experience in, we've usually, if there's a problem with a Chinese-made product, and certainly like toys and stuff, it's a big problem, we would send cease and desist letters to retailers or wherever the product is going out to the consumer in the U.S. We want to cut the Chinese manufacturer off where they're getting exposure to the customer, so that the only way they can get away with things is they have to keep it all in China, even though we just had a U.S. patent. So we're cutting off a big market for them. So it's just, there's a lot of places it's like a chain, the distribution, manufacturing, and sales, and you just gotta nail the link that's easiest for you to go after, and if they're really eating into your business.
There's one other factor that you need to think about. I invented, well, some of you are too young to know that a mouse used to come with a cord. And Carnegie Mellon again called me in and said, can you solve this problem? Because we're having to issue these mice to the students and take them back from the labs. So I invented a mouse trap using the fiber optic cable that we utilize in our alarm system. And we sold probably 500,000 of them to colleges all across the country in Canada. And we had different sizes to protect different size cable, like the cable to a AC power strip. We could protect that also. But what could possibly go wrong? Well, Apple came out with a wireless mouse. There was no tail for us to hook onto. With the mouse with a tail and our little trap, the only way you could steal the mouse would be to cut the cable, and then the mouse is not going to work anyhow. It's supposed to be soldered with those little wires. But when they came out with a wireless mouse, that was pretty much the end of my mouse trap sales. So technology just ruined the sales of that product.
Yeah, and the near field, what they call near field wireless, is a exploding field.
Well, they probably took off with the idea from yours.
They just eliminated them out. They used,
Oh. It's always something, isn't it?
yeah, what could possibly go wrong? Something will.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, the idea with that first patent that I applied for, you know, they missed the mark, and, you know, what are you gonna do? You know, that just, you have to
Yeah.
come up with another product.
You know, talking about patents, and I'm working on a trademark right now. How important is it to trademark your name? Like,
Oh, it's probably the most valuable thing you'll have in the very long term. It's the one thing that lasts forever, never expires, and the older it gets, the better known it gets, the more value it gets. So yeah, that's always important, and you wanna get known by a name, and of course you stay with that name because it gets more and more out over the internet and known by people.
you know, going through, I use the company online, trademarking, I think this is the way to go. And now I'm learning, you know, there's like
Yeah, it's all about picking the right name, whether it gets easily approved or not.
I mean,
But in general, you got a couple cautions. It can't be a generic word.
Yeah, I got it.
Can't describe the product, and for anything, don't pick a name close to a famous name, because that'll be a problem. But
Yeah. Well, my last word to you guys, I think it's important. Make sure it's patented, get an investor, and then the consumer comes. And that's the key to our success. Those 3 steps: your patent, investors, and the consumer. Because you can't get it to the consumers unless you have an investor putting all that money out to get that product made. You know? I think those are the 3 key ingredients that we need for our success as inventors.
Would you, if you had to do it over again, would you ask for investments from family? Did that
No.
work out okay?
No, I did that once. No, I wouldn't do that. What I would do is I would do whatever it takes for me to get the money to have a prototype made without having to go to the family, and then go from there. You know, and then after it's established, maybe if they wanted to invest or something like that, then do it that way. You know? But no, I wouldn't do it that way. And I wouldn't do what I did in the past. I won't go there no more. Like I'm saying, I'm a little skeptical.
One of the problems, like what Carrie has, she has a patent, and, you know, Apple and a number of other major companies are now infringing. There's no way in hell she can afford to sue them, because, you know, she just doesn't have the financial money to do it. I mean, they'll spend $1 million, $2 million, it's nothing to them. You know, she can't begin to fight that. So she has to end up selling it to, either selling it to the guy that's infringing, or get some other entity that has the deep pockets to.
can you find those? There's some non-practicing entities that take on lawsuits for shares.
Yeah.
It's
That can
tricky.
give the little guy some horsepower.
Yeah, that'd be neat. But,
I mean, I've heard of people doing that. I mean, people get
my friends.
litigation financed.
You know what's tricky though, is like, Microsoft will actually hire, there's certain patent firms that are patent litigators. So Microsoft will hire one attorney in Perkins Coie and one attorney there. And then, so like Perkins Coie will sue Apple, but they won't sue Google and they won't sue Microsoft, because those are their clients. And this other firm will sue Microsoft, but they can't sue Google. And so they really go around, it's quite clever. They'll actually hire the best law firm
you got an investor?
No.
What kind of question is that? I'm curious, is that actually even, everybody says about getting investors.
I mean, I've had clients get them and, mostly, well, not mutual and stuff, but it's, you give up for it, and that's, you gotta be, in the mindset to, not only, ownership, but it's somebody having to say,
Who's gonna sign the front of the check?
I got one once. I hired a guy to do a business plan, and he knew a lot of wealthy people. And he got excited about my business plan. This was an engineering equipment company. And so we got $500,000 from some of his friends. And for them, it was a nice tax write-off. They never had their money back. 3 years after I retired, they closed the company down.
Yeah,